But I will tell you this: in doing these 7 episodes on conspiracies, you can choose whether you can say they're all bunk, because in the end we cover the conspiracy and we leave it up to you. Did we provide enough evidence to where you can look at this and say, there's a little bit of merit here, there's something beyond what we've been told. So, but I will tell you this: in doing these 7 conspiracies, and I say this very seriously, I got scared doing them, and I don't scare easy. But these things, doing this show frightened me.
Which one scared you the most?
2012.
Ah, come on.
Oh, really?
We had Dr. Michio Kaku say it's all bullshit.
Well, it might all be, but
what scared you about the 2012
Well,
thing?
because there's certain things that NASA backs up that's going to happen, and here's what scares me, is the fact that every 160 years or so, the sun kind of goes crazy up there, and it's due to happen. And, well, back up again. The Mayan calendar. What it said was simply this: December 21st of 2012, the world as we know it will end and a new world will begin. That's the actual what the Mayans said. Now, you can throw that out saying, they're just a bunch of old Mayans, what do they know?
They know shoes.
But these people, believe it or not, when it came to the atmosphere and that, nothing, even with all our technology today, we can't disprove the things that they learned back then. They were very bright when it came to up there. Now, here's the story on 2012. And you can go to NASA and they'll back this up. Our planet is protected by a magnetic force field. Well, apparently there's a large hole in it. And NASA will back you up because the Voyager and all that, they've proven there's a big hole in our magnetic force field. Well, every 160 years or so, and this is also documented, the sun kind of goes crazy and it shoots off these solar flares that they call it, right? Well, because of the hole in our force field, it happened 160 years ago, and it didn't really have a major effect because we weren't dependent upon electricity like we are today. Back then, it might have just knocked out a couple of telegraph offices, and that would have been the extent of it, because 160 years ago, we didn't have the massive grid system. We weren't as dependent upon electricity. The guys I've talked to said, here's the good part: we can prevent it, but no one's paying attention right now. It'll cost about 200 to 400 million to put these resistors in our entire grid system. But what this guy told me is that when this happens, and he won't say it's December 21st, 2012, he says or thereabouts. When this happens from the sun, it could very well knock out the entire grid system of North America to where we could be without electricity for up to 2 to 4 years.
This sounds like Y2K.
Now, what Y2K was created by us. This has nothing to do with us. This is up there. And it's documented. This is out of our control. I said that too. I said it, but I even bring it up. I said, well, wait a minute. We had Y2K. I had to sit in a thing all night long thinking that, the world was going to go down, blah, 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 and nothing happened. But like he said, yeah, but that was us. That was just us and our computers. He said, this comes from the sun, and it's documented. You can go to NASA. They will verify it and all this. And if that indeed happens, like I said to him, I said, well, I live in Mexico half the year, and I live off the grid, and I have solar power. What'll happen to me? And the guy said, well, you'll probably have about 100,000 people wanting to live with you. Oh. Now imagine, you're all New Yorkers out here, right? Look what happened when they lost power here for a mere 24 hours. What would happen if the whole North American grid system blew out and it took us 2 years to get it up and running again?
Oh, well.
Wow.
But
I mean, you'd have chaos.
Call the herd. Yes. Call the herd.
Well, you'd have chaos. And, so that one scared me the most.
How would we see our movies?
Right, but that one got to me the most, the fact that that's really out of our control.
Yeah.
If this happens and we're not preparing for it in some manner.
Just...
But this guy says it'll cost between 2 to 400 million to put these resistors into the grid system.
That's not a lot of money.
Right, but he said the problem is nobody's paying attention to it.
Because it's bullshit.
It'd seem all silly if they thought it was, yeah.
It's not, because it's all documented.